mato umanai Shabbat ahim gam yachad Hine mato umanai Shabbat ahim gam yachad. Won't you join together in this song, helping one another to be strong, seeing that the sun shines a little bright, helping all the world seem a little lighter when we join as one.
Good Shabbat, everyone. We're singing Hine Ma Tov, which means how good it is that we're here together as our new cantorial soloist Aaron leads us. But as we always do, help us become a community. Find someone you're sitting near who you may or may not know. Introduce yourself to them. Wish them a Shabbat Shalom. Help create our community, this sanctuary, all of us together.
Helping one another to be strong, seeing that the sun shines a little brighter, helping all the world seem a little lighter when we join as one. Join once more in Hine Ma Tov with me. Hine Ma Tov umanai Shabbat ahim gam yachad. Hine Ma Tov umanai Shabbat ahim gam yachad.
Welcome to the Shabbat in our interfaith garden. It's the first day of summer, beginning of our summer services, our first Shabbat without a bar bat mitzvah. And so it's good that we can be in the garden together and enjoy summer. It is Michigan. We should never plant anything outside where we have to count on the weather. But we are here together, not just for Shabbat, it's also our annual Pride Shabbat, where we as a community celebrate the fact that we are allies and we welcome everyone into our midst and recognize the importance of being allies in the LGBTQ plus community, how significant that is for us. And so we have friends who will share with us their story as well after services. But as a part of that, it's just being together, being community and celebrating Shabbat, which we very much need in the midst of our world right now, in the midst of a week. Last week when we gathered, for the first time in a long time, rockets were starting to fall in Israel from Iran. And we've spent a week of nervousness, of worry, of angst, of challenges. And so what we hope is that we create a moment in Shabbat where we can use our prayers for good. We can use our prayers to remind ourselves of the importance of being in a community, of knowing we're not alone in our journeys. Globally, we appreciate the challenges that face our world, humanity, for us as Jews. But as we come together and recognize the challenges for those who may not feel like they're always welcomed, how important it is to make that statement and make that clear that everyone is welcome, that our mission is to be open, to be a home, that we accept one another, we love one another, we create that importance of community. And so it's the prayers that we articulate, the prayers we think, the ideas we internalize that can help us in difficult times, can help us in challenging times, can help us focus on what matters most. So as we meditate and welcome Shabbat now, we begin with a traditional prayer, Elohai Nitzor. It means, my God, that let the words I say be okay, be correct. In the midst of this prayer, you actually all know one of the lines of it, because it's actually often said at the end of the Amidah, where we say, may the words of my mouth, the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, God, my rock, my redeemer. But what's powerful about this prayer is it's said in the midst of other prayers that often are we. We as a people believe this. We as a people want to do this. We as a community ask for this. But suddenly this prayer says, my God, my words, might they be okay because of who I am. My God, guard my tongue, it says. So prayer is an individual experience. It's personal. It's for each of us. And all of our prayers come together as we become a we. So maybe for a moment, close your eyes. Breathe in God's gift to each and every one of us. Breathe out your gift to this world. Elohai Nitzor. My God, may these words that I think, my thoughts, I construct, help me, help my world, help the people around me, help my community.
Elohai Netzor Leshoni Mera Elohai Netzor Leshoni Mera. Oh my God, watch over me. Take the hurt away from how I speak. Only love flows from you. May every word I speak be true. Elohai Netzor Leshoni Mera Elohai Netzor Leshoni Mera. When words are thrown, I'll hold my tongue and breathe the air of songs I've sung. That refrain I'll repeat. There's more to you than only me. Elohai Netzor Leshoni Mera Elohai Netzor Leshoni Mera. Usfatai midaber mirma V'linkana nafshi tidom V'nafshi ke'afar L'kol tiye Yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai.
Our words, we know, are powerful. Our words have the power to help, to heal, to hold, to love. Our words can do the opposite as well. Our prayers are filled with words that the ancients put together to guide us, to give us direction, but it's on us to create our own in the midst of prayer, unique for each and every one of us. So as we think in our prayers, may that be so. May it help us open up our hearts to a path that helps humanity, helps community, that helps one another, that helps ourselves. And in doing that, we make our Shabbat our time of shalom, our time of peace, our time of love, our time of joy. And so with that perspective, can we begin our prayers formally now? It's a Kaya service. It's a relaxed service. It's a service when, if you want, you can use the prayer book. And I forgot what page the Baruch Hu is on. I think it's 21 or somewhere around there. But you don't have to use a prayer book. But you can if you want. And if you're able to, you can rise together as we become a community and join in our prayers as well.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la la la.
As we sing Shema, we remind ourselves the power of the words that we listen. We listen to one another. We listen to our prayers. We listen for those that remind us of God's presence in our world. It's one tradition why we close our eyes as we sing, as we say Shema. So maybe if you like, you can again. As we close our eyes, we help ourselves listen. We help ourselves sing our prayer.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. How I learned from the trees to be patient, and I learned from the wind just how to move along, and I learned from the silence to listen the whole day long. Shema, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha. Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha uv'lechtecha b'derech uv'shofbecha uv'kumecha וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
This week I was reading an article from a study that was done in January, which talked about Americans and the average American thinking about if they had to land a plane because the pilot, for some reason, wasn't able to, would they be able to do it with the help of air traffic control? And the results, the statistics of it were actually very interesting, that 1 in 2 men believed that yes, they would be able to do that. Women, it was a little bit less than that. They also looked at the age of people and their beliefs of whether or not they would be able to do that. That 18 to 29-year-olds, it was about 50%, is that as people aged and got into a little bit older categories, it went down from 1 to 2 to 1 to 3, and then at 65 and over, about 1 in 9 believed that they would be able to help land the plane as well. Very difficult task as I was reading about that as well, because I was curious. I won't tell you which side I am on that. But then I thought about some of our preschool students, and that if we asked them about their dancing abilities, and we did this one year when another study came out, asking them, how many of you can dance, are great dancers? And yes, just like that, Tori's got her hand up. Preschool students, no hesitation. All of them say, I'm a fabulous dancer, I've got it. But something happens. And as we get a little bit older, if we were to ask that same questions of those students a little bit later on in their lives, early elementary, middle school, that number again would drastically decrease in the number of people that raise their hands with that question. This week, our Torah portion is known as Shalach Lecha. It comes in the book of Numbers. And in it, we're told that there are 12 scouts that were actually sent to the land of Israel to scout out the land, to come back and report to the Israelites as we were wandering through the desert what the land was like, what we would be able to do, would we be able to inhabit it. And 10 of the scouts came back and said, there's giants that are in the land. There's no way that we're ever going to be able to beat them. Clearly, they lacked that confidence. They had grown a little bit older. They were closer to those 65-year-olds that were done in the study of the airplane, in the airplane study. But there were 2, Joshua and Caleb. Joshua and Caleb came back and said that there are grapes that are ginormous, that the people, yes, there are people there, but with our faith in God, we know that God is leading us to a place that will be protected, that will be watched over, that God will guide us as we enter into the land, and that we're able to conquer it and take it over as well. That fear that some had 1,000 years ago, the rabbis realized was still there. But the fear for them was about when we went to sleep at night and what would happen. They believed that at night our soul actually departed from our body, returned to God who gave it to us, who breathed it into us with our first breath, and that every night it would return to God to be refreshed and renewed. And in the morning when we woke up, that God breathed that soul back into us, refreshed, renewed, ready to fulfill our mission. And they had this fear, though, that God might not do that. They weren't confident that it would happen. And so they wrote this prayer, the words of the Hashkivenu, thinking about who we are as individuals, that strength that we have, hoping that we continue to have that. And tomorrow morning when we wake up to life, we wake up to life renewed, refreshed, confident in our abilities, able to see the beauty of our world, able to realize that we can overcome the challenges that we face as well. So for a moment, I invite you to close your eyes, to breathe in, breathing in God's gift to us, to breathe out, sharing that gift with the world. As you breathe in, think about those blessings that you possess, those things that make you unique, those qualities, those characteristics. Think about when you were younger. Maybe it was a year ago, a month ago, a few more than years. What was it that you raised your hand for, that you were confident about? You said, I've got this. I know I can do it. As you breathe in, picture God giving you the strength to be able to do that again. Our prayer tonight is that God gives us that confidence back. That tomorrow morning we'll wake up to life renewed, refreshed, ready to give it all our all and our best.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomreinu
The next set of prayers, which for those of you who'd like to follow along in a prayer book, can be found on page 26, are the words of the Amidah, which traditionally are 18 or 19 different blessings. First, thanking God, blessing God, praising God, then asking God for the things that we want in life. Knowledge, health, a good year, and then at the end, 3 more prayers giving us the opportunity to thank God again for the blessings that are a part of our lives. The rabbis realized that sometimes the words that we wanted to say weren't part of those 18 or 19 different blessings. That we came with other ideas, other thoughts, other challenges in our hearts. That we each needed to have our own private conversation. And so they gave us this moment of kavanah, a silent prayer, a moment of intention for us to be able to connect with ourselves and have this quiet moment to connect with God as well. And so we rise together and take a moment for private prayer.
Iyu l'ratzon imrefi v'hegyon libi levanecha Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri v'goali Iyu l'ratzon imrefi v'hegyon libi levanecha Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri v'goali Adonai sefatai tiftachu fi agite gilatecha. Eternal God, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Tzara, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, ve'Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei HaKol, Ve'zocher Chasdei Avod Ve'imahot, U'mevih Geulah B'nei Bneihem, Le'ma'an Shemo ve'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Mashiach u'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol hatarav le'hoshia. Morid hatah, Mechalkei chaim bechesed. Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim. Somech nofnim ve'rofeh cholim. Umatir asurim, umkayem emunato lishenei afar. Micha mocha gal gevurot, umido melach. Melech memit umkayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua. V'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, kedoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated. As we've done since October 7th, 2023, our thoughts turn to those in Israel, especially to the 53 hostages who are still being held in Gaza, as we add our prayers as a community, as a people, thinking of them. Mishaberach avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, v'imotenu Sarah Rivka Leah v'Rachel, v'yivarech v'yishmor v'yitzor et ha'ne'edarim v'et ha'chatufim. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless and protect and guard those who were abducted and taken hostage, the missing and the kidnapped who were taken from their homes, their villages, and their kibbutzim, from military posts and from fields of dance, and who are now in danger in hostile and foreign locations. For we and all the people of Israel are praying on their behalf. May the Holy One have compassion upon them and bring them out from darkness and the shadow of death, break their bonds and deliver them from distress, and redeem them speedily, returning them to their families, their towns, and their homes, into fields of dance and joy. As together we say, Amen. For the soldiers working to bring them home and keep the citizens and people of Israel safe. Makor HaChaim, source of life and peace. We ask for your blessing for all those who serve and protect the people in the land of Israel, who stand guard on borders and cities and across the land, in the air and on the sea. Grant them courage and compassion, wisdom and strength. May they be guided by justice, uphold the dignity of all people, and remain safe in body, mind, and spirit. Shield them from harm. Return them safely to their families and communities. May their service be a path to peace and a defense of life. Inspire in them and in all of us a deep commitment to pursue peace and strive for a world where no one must fight. May the days soon come when the vision of the prophet Isaiah comes true, that nation shall not lift up sword against nation, nor shall they learn war anymore. As together we say,
Amen.
Amen.
A prayer for our family, our friends, for the state of Israel. Avinu shebashamayim, sor Yisrael, v'go'alo barech et medinat Yisrael, reshit tzmichat ge'ulatenu. Avinu, our parent, you are high above all nations and peoples, rock of Israel, the one who saved us and preserves us in life. Bless the state of Israel, first flowering of our redemption. Be her loving shield, a shelter of lasting peace. Guide her leaders, advisors by your light of truth. Instruct them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who build and protect our holy land. Deliver them from danger. Crown their efforts with success. Grant peace to the land of Israel, lasting joy to all of her people. And together we say, Amen. We bring our prayers into our own community, our own home, as we turn to think of those in need of healing and strength, friends and family. As in a moment we take the Torah out of the ark and we walk around with it, we reach out, we touch it, we mention names out loud of those we're thinking of. Reminding ourselves that Torah is not only a source of wisdom and learning, as it's been for our people for thousands of years, but a source of strength and hope. Please rise. Mishaberach Avotenu Abraham Yitzhak v'Yaakov v'Imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah. Hu Yivrech Etocholim, merciful God, who's blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Becca, Leah, and Rachel. Send your blessings to our loved ones stricken with illness, anxiety, friends, and family we think of. Anna Alpert, Manny Bade, Rory Barner, Laura Ben David, Martin Bordelais, Michael Brody, Chris Burke, Karen Kasman, Patty Seresny, Jason Deneau, David Decker, Ann Gotro, Richard Gotro, Bradley Ginn, Brandon Gordon, Batia Bapesha Panina, Ava Haber-Kornholm, Gidon Ben Avraham, Alexis Johnson Walzer, Kathy Capera, Leon Klein, Isaiah Klein, Karen Klein, Serafina Kofrin, Chaya Aviva Bat Leib Befekula, Marta Lazar, Alan Lieberman, Zev Lorber, Tim McAllister, Zoe Marcus, Gary Martin, Justin Milberger, Tatiana Minlin, Sid Mintz, Caleb Ben Ba'ami, Masha Batlea, Steve Passer, Carolyn Peterson, Sandy Pittler, Linda Pratt, Donna Reef, Marcy Fisher-Reiners, Leslie Riggs, Laura Rosso, Yocheved Chana Bat Shoshana Gula, Neil Sefferman, Tom Selleck, the St. Amman family, Michael Schulman, Ann Siegel, Roberta Sanino, Toby Stein, Lori Tennant, Len Turman, Stuart Thompson, Stephen Velick, Marilyn Webb, Dolores Weinstein, Yisrael Yechiel Ben Moshe Vasara. Especially we think of the over 6,000 Israeli soldiers physically injured since October 7th, and all those in Israel and throughout the world emotionally hurting and in need, and all the names in our hearts. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, blessed are you, God, and give strength to those in need.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah Shema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah Shema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
And on page 41 in our prayer books. Aleinu.
לשבח אדון
הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו מקומם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Nothing can fill the emptiness that a death leaves behind. Those who are no longer a physical presence are still alive within our thoughts and our words. Their memories are only a part of the picture. So long as we recall their presence and their warmth, their friendship, their heart, mind, and thought are still within our soul. We honor and cherish the ones we love by living our lives to the fullest. And so on this Shabbat, we think of those friends and family who have been taken from us in these most recent days. The Shiva, Shloshim, and Shana we mark. Ari Schnorman, Eileen Grossman, Jonah Chupak, Ruth Moltz, Marta Perkis, Joan Zechman, Kopi Brower, Betty Gurovich, Toby Shabenberger, Dr. Hugh Beckman, Richard Gutson, Thomas Mather, Karen Rosender, Adele Feldman, the 456 IDF soldiers killed defending Israel and working to bring home the hostages, the 24 Israeli lives lost this week as the direct front with Iran opened, and all the innocent lives lost during this ongoing war. And to their names we add those whose yahrzeits we mark, those of whose anniversary of passing we lovingly commemorate. William Barron, Sidney Blumenthal, Terry Bach, Vicky Buckfire, Sam Bussell, Grace Geraldine Carafelli, Scott Milford Chanis, Burton Carl Davis, Marion Dickens, Samuel Ehrlich, Ava Ernstein, Alexander Fiore, Janine Carey Freeby, Bob Friedman, Isidore Gladstein, Bernice Globke, Zlata Goodman-Gordner, Harry Grossman, Janet Guggenheim, Tyrone Hall, Dr. Stan Halprin, Henrietta Harris, Warner Heilbroom, Robert Hibner, M. Lee Holdengraber, Shirley Jacobs, Irving Kane, Herman Kaplan, Peter Kelly, Leon B. Kiff, Sandra Klein, Al Klein, Fred Cohen, Carol Jo Lasser, Teddy Leopold, Charlene Meyerson Lizelle, Megan Marjoram Lays, Isidore Meiji, Arnold Michaelberg, Jacqueline Milgram, Stuart Mills, Danny Malamed, Betty Nosenchuk, Alfred Payson, Faye Perlman, Pauline Ross, Rita Seidman, Jerry Scharfing, Sheldon David Schubiner, Marla Scissors, Max Serlin, Benjamin Siegel, Manuel Sklar, Giorgio Sonino, Shirley Spoon, Samuel Stein, Gary Stern, William Stouffer, Samuel Stolovich, Jerry Serja, William Tarnow, Valerie Thurston, Kalman Harry Unger, Marie Walker, Ethel Weiner, Etta Zivian. Along with all the names in our hearts and those who have known to say Kaddish for them, do we join together on page 46 of our prayer books in the immortal words of the Mourner's Kaddish, praising God for the gift of life. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach cherutei v'amlich malchutei, b'chayachon u'vyomachon u'v'chayei l'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mivarach le'alam omei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kedusha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, Damiran Be'alma Bimru. Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya. V'chaim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Vimru. Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromav. Huya Aseh Shalom. Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Vimru. Amen. The source of peace, and peace to all who mourn. Comfort to all the bereaved among us here and everywhere. As together we say, Amen.
Oseh Shalom Bimromav. Huyaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Bimru, Bimru, Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromav. Huyaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Bimru, Bimru, Amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael.
Good Shabbos, everyone. It's nice to be together as a community. As I said before, a few things. It's the first time our cantorial soloist, Aaron, has been able to lead services by himself in music. And two of the songs we sang tonight, or two of the prayers, Hidem HaTov and Shema, were both his original compositions. And so it's nice to have that music as a part of our services as well. So we always love and welcome Aaron. Few things to announce. Our annual meeting is on Tuesday night. If you haven't filled out a proxy yet, Brian Fishman, our executive director, is here, and he'll have proxies.
They're actually right outside the door on the podium, along with some pens. So if you wanted to fill those out, we'd love to have that to be able to help us have a quorum to vote for. The only thing on the agenda really is our slate of board of directors. So we have a few new board of directors members that we're hoping that you'll pass.
So you can come to the meeting too if you want, but most don't find it very exciting. So anyway, either way, but help us out with that. But I know, one of the joys of having preschool is that preschool parents get connected. And our speakers tonight in honor of Pride Shabbat happen to be two of our preschool parents, and that's why all their friends come too. Also, services are outside. You can run around and make a lot of noise. Well, it's awesome having preschool voices and young voices in our sanctuary as we did this evening, but that's partly because of our guest speakers, Hannah and Nicole Figueroa. So these two women have been a part of our, yes. I'll just do a short introduction. So not only, their biggest claim to fame is as two moms in our preschool, to Asher and to, there Asher's pointing to himself, and to Sophia, who are here as well. Where's Sophie? Sophie's on the bima. She's very comfortable. It's good. And so it's wonderful that they're so comfortable in our home here, and they know how much they belong here. But our relationship goes way back when I first met Hannah when she was a young woman on a high school trip to Israel, Teen Mission 2004. And we began a relationship then, a friendship then, and then brought Nicole into her life and into my life as well. I was blessed to marry them in the fall of 2017. And then a few years after that, to name Asher, and then to name Sophie as well and be a part of their simchas, the joys of their life. And so they've been on quite a journey together as a couple. And what I asked for them to share was not only their own personal stories as two women who found each other and their experiences in life, but also in the climate that we live in today. I mean, we learned today that our government has canceled the helpline for mental health for the LGBTQ plus community, for the suicide hotline. Canada has created a new toll-free line for Americans to call on, though, as a helpline. So thank you, Canada. And so I'm going to let them share a little of their story, and we can ask them some questions, too. So I don't know which, are you, come on, I got two. I have two microphones.
Oh, we don't.
Come
Hi,
on,
everyone.
Come here.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nicole Figueroa. This is Hannah. Oh, and this is Asher. Yeah, that's Asher. And Sophie's over there. I asked Hannah yesterday who was going to speak, and she said me. Louder in the back, yes. So my name's Nicole, and I was just going to share a little bit about my story and then kind of let Hannah talk about her story and then talk about what it's been like for us together. So I grew up in Lexington, Kentucky, in an interfaith family, and we bended towards the kind of evangelical Christian side of things. And so as a young kid, growing up in an interfaith family, realizing that something was a little different, faith and my vision of what my life was going to be was that I would never probably have a faith community. I was very scared when I was a kid to come out to my family, who is very supportive and loves our family as well. But it was something that I never thought that I would have a faith community. And it was actually my grandmother, who's Jewish, who was one of the first people I came out to, and who told me that you're going to love who you're going to love, and that's the most important thing for us. And then fast forward to meeting Hannah and Rabbi Mike and being married. Hi, Sophie. And being able to get married in a very traditional way. We chose one of the most traditional kind of ceremonies that we could because we felt like we wanted to make it a holy union, and we wanted to have the most kind of faithful and spiritual kind of side of us together. And that was something that I never thought I would have as a kid. I think that when you grow up and you realize that something is different than the vast majority of the people around you, you don't think that you'll be enveloped in love. You actually think that you'll be cast aside, and it won't be a place for you to share. And so to have this community and to be part of this synagogue and have our children be able to be raised up in this tradition that was a long tradition in my family and kind of bringing it back to our family has been an absolute gift. It's not something I ever thought that I would have. And so that's been a beautiful thing for me. So that has been probably the most powerful thing for me, is to be able to have that community now. So I'll let Hannah talk a little bit about her own thoughts.
Thanks. I had a very wise young lady tell me that she's been up on stage many times and then I'll be okay. So I am terrified of public speaking. It's not my forte. But I had a very different experience than Nicole. I actually grew up in the conservative Jewish community. I went to Hillel Day School. I was a member of another synagogue locally. And for me, my journey to identifying as a lesbian in this community took a lot longer. I didn't actually come out until I was in my 20s. And I had kind of waffled back and forth for a while, but I had waffled, yeah. But I had remembered, there were a couple of teachers when I was at Hillel who, you can say hi. Say hi. 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 Okay. She is not scared of public speaking. There were a couple of teachers who, I knew peripherally at Hillel, and it wasn't really the warmest welcome that I remember. And so when I did finally identify, how I felt as my authentic self, I had a lot of fear about coming out and about entering back into the Jewish community. And so I actually stepped back for a long time. I moved to Ann Arbor. I really kind of pushed myself into a different community there, and really came into my identity a bit more. And I lived there for 10 years until Nicole and I got together and got married, and then decided ultimately that we wanted to come back to our foundation. I grew up in Oak Park, and Nicole, when she first moved here from Lexington, lived in Oak Park. We built a home about a block away from where I grew up and where she lived when she first moved here, ironically. And I will, my family is very supportive, of course, but I was They are here, yeah. But I was terrified. You know, I didn't have the greatest representation growing up. There weren't a lot of out women in the community, and the couple that were much older and not really the most generously welcomed, or at least that was my perspective. So I'll let Nicole share a little bit about why we moved back.
Sorry. So, kind of to wrap it up, what is it like to live as two women raising two kids in today's age? I would say that being queer and living in society is very much like all of our experiences of being kind of cast out and brought in, and cast out and brought in. And each time things get better, and sometimes they ricochet back. And so I think right now for us, it's building community and being part of a community and raising our kids around families who are supportive and families who look like us. But, you know, allyship is one of the most powerful things. And so what Hannah was saying about seeing people who look like us and having kind of, I would say growing up as a queer kid, you don't get to see examples of you in a lot of ways. And to have a community that is accepting us, and hopefully there's another kid who, may see us and see us with, surviving, having kids, doing really normal, boring stuff, nothing salacious. They will hopefully feel at home. And as Rabbi said, I'm a mental health professional. I'm a psychiatric nurse by background, and so suicide prevention is something that is really key to my life. And so in seeing a lot of the things that are getting peeled back now, I think allyship, advocacy is so powerful. And it's the people who've been kind of our straight allies that have helped me survive. It's been the people, my friends, who said, yeah, I'll come out with you. Yeah, let me meet your girlfriend. That was the most powerful thing for me. So for us in today's, even sitting here and talking about this now, it's people who are straight, who speak out for us, because, I expect myself to be advocates, but it's people who sit and listen to us and understand our life story, and Rabbi always being a great advocate and having a home for us. So our landing place here with our friends, our family, is some of the most powerful things, and in hard times, that's what we come back to, is our community. So that's how we survive. That's how we continue to thrive. And our home here at Shir Shalom is, a pillar to that and a big foundation for that. So thank you. And I didn't cry.
You want to take questions?
Huh? Yeah, I'll take questions, but I didn't cry like usual. At our wedding, I cried the entire time, and he kept on saying stuff to me.
Has been the most important thing for our community and what we want to be able to do. What's nice, I think our first Pride Shabbat ever, you spoke 7 years ago, 6 years ago?
No.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not.
For whatever. They were pregnant.
4 years.
It was exciting. And look, now it happened. I'm learning how these things work. So, and it's a blessing. You both had the opportunity to carry one of your children too, which is really cool what you're able to create with your family too. So for Tish, rather than just asking us rabbis questions you may have for our guests. Yeah. The question for those online or those in here was the importance of allyship, and with anti-Semitism increasing these days, and not always seeing that from the most liberal communities or the queer community, have you been able to find allyship also as Jews or against anti-Semitism as well?
Yeah. Oh, she doesn't want to talk. I would say, what would you say? Here. Yeah. Yeah, here is the primary. I mean, we here, and then with our friends that we've met within the preschool is probably the biggest. I know for me, I've worked in various places, but in some of my varied work experiences, I have some powerful people to me who check in with us. But it's interesting how intersecting identities create even smaller groups of people to help. And particularly in kind of the queer community, you can find things that kind of edge towards maybe we might have to have harder conversations in those communities. So it's kind of an intersecting, but we have some small supports and allyship, I'd say. It becomes smaller and smaller as intersecting identities intersect more and more.
Yeah, you're right. Good question, too. Other questions? Or other Tish questions, too? Yes.
Yeah. So we actually live...
How does the Orthodox community respond to gay women, to lesbian women?
Yeah, I would say that we live more towards on the east side of Coolidge. So we live very close to Ferndale. We're actually like a block away from Ferndale. So the vast majority of our experience is like Ferndale. And that was actually really important. So when I moved here to Michigan, having both a Jewish community and the gay community being, like when I moved to Ferndale, it was like fabulous Ferndale. And so it was very gay. And I had never experienced that. So having both was really cool, but we're not on that, not on, I would say, like the west side of Coolidge, which tends to be a little bit more Orthodox. Yeah.
What's your question?
Yeah. 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 I would say Ferndale's it. I even in living in Ann Arbor, if you can believe it, when I moved to Ann Arbor, I really missed the Ferndale community. And I think that that's been the most grounding for me and for us, is that when you walk in Ferndale, you don't feel othered. I think that as the world, I'd say maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, I feel like it was expanding and it was safer. But now, I've never thought of, now that we have kids, we have this conversation of like when we're traveling, our kids now are speaking and calling us mom and mommy and mama and mommy, and there's no hiding anymore where, there's a way, especially for a very kind of straight passing human, that I can hide my identity if I need to. So being in Ferndale is probably the most powerful, especially the affirmations being in Ferndale. Yeah. It's a beautiful community, but I think you kind of build community where you're at. I mean, Ferndale, Berkeley, Huntington Woods, those are all kind of beautiful areas, is because it kind of edges out outside of Ferndale. I wish they had teen drop-ins when I was a kid. Affirmation says really cool stuff.
It's nice that both Hannah and Nicole are mental health professionals, too. You mentioned that as what's your title now at Henry Ford?
No.
Yes.
No. I'm the Chief Nursing Officer of Henry Ford Behavioral Health
Chief
Hospital.
Nursing Officer at Henry Ford here in West Bloomfield.
Not the hospital, not the medical hospital, the behavioral health
Yes.
hospital, yeah.
Doctor, right?
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
Yes. It's impressive. So, and she was head of psychiatric nursing in Ann Arbor at U of M, and has always been a great resource to us rabbis, too, when we've had children in need and stuff, and helped guide us, too. So we really appreciate them and their wisdom, both of them. So I think we should have our children come forward, don't you think, Rabbi? Because we have something for, actually, Hannah and Nicole.
Should we get the children in the hall? Nate, can you help us with that if you hear this message?
The children.
But Hannah and Nicole, you can help us with the challah, too.
Want to come on up? My Levy friends, Gold friends, Schwartz in the hall.
Hey, Golds, come on down here.
We have a wonderful tradition that this group knows well because we got to do it this morning as well. But we first begin, Rabbi.
Yes? Oh, we first give thanks for the sweetness of this day and the joy of Shabbat as we sing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pori hagafen. Amen.
Chaim. Hamotzi.
Lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen. Te'avon. Oh, yeah, it's good. We give thanks for our time together and our time as a community, as we share in these moments. And I see there are guests here as well. And if you haven't had a chance to meet one of us rabbis or Aaron, please introduce yourself to us as well so we can say hi and wish you a Shabbat and Shalom in person. And again, if you want to fill out one of those proxies, we really appreciate that. Hand it to Rabbi or Brian or me, and that helps us out greatly. Thank God as we rise together for our closing prayer.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you. May God protect you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha.
May God shine upon you. May God shine through you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha. V'yasem lecha shalom.
May God always be a part of who we are, helping us as a community be stronger, be allies, to lift us up, to help one another, to help us with shalom, with peace. Amen.
V'yasem lecha shalom.
Good Shabbos, everyone.
Good Shabbos.